Tube screamer, Klon. What's the difference? The Ibanez Tube Screamer and the Klon Centaur are two of the most influential and copied types of overdrive pedals available. Now, in the absence of a Klon Centaur, I'm using my Klon KTR, which is as close as you're going to get to an actual Centaur. It's designed by the same person, Bill Finnegan. And representing the Tube Screamer family, I have the TS Mini, which is very, very similar. It's somewhere between a TS808 and a TS9, only with probably a tad more gain. So this is going to be a test to see how differently these two pedals sound and how differently their controls work. We're going to start with gain. This is the Klon. And this is the Tube Screamer. The way that tube screamers work is that they blend some of the clean signal in with the overdriven signal to create a fatter tone. It also rolls off a bit of the high end. Now the gain itself, as you turn it up, it became more compressed. So although I was turning the gain up, it didn't necessarily get much louder. It just became sort of more tight and more compressed. The Klon, on the other hand, is a much more dynamic overdrive. So as I started turning the gain up, it became noticeably louder. I wasn't trying to make this louder than the Tube Screamer, it just became louder because it is more dynamic, which means that it's going to be more responsive to the velocity in which you play with your picking hand. The tone control on these two pedals was noticeably different. Now typically on a Klon style pedal, the tone control is actually a treble control, and it really only sort of affects the top end sparkle or clarity of this pedal. It doesn't necessarily make it more dull if you're running through a bright amp. The tone control, however, on the Tube Screamer is a lot more broad, and it really is set up to be able to place this pedal in front of a multitude of different amps, whether it be a dull sounding amp or a bright sounding amp, and you can use that tone control to really sort of shape the tone and get it sitting just right so that it stands out. I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. Do they sound good together? Answer is yes. So how are these two pedals different? Well, the Klon is a more dynamic overdrive. It's a hard clipping overdrive, so once you get it past halfway, it does become quite harsh. That's why most people tend to use it as a clean boost, so with the gain rolled down a bit. And it sounds a bit like a traditional amp that's being cranked up a bit and starting to break up, which makes it a great platform for other pedals as well. So it provides a bit of clarity to your sound, and like I said before, it's very dynamic. The Tube Screamer, on the other hand, works really, really well as a color boost. They do sound pretty good on their own, but typically when you run them in front of other types of pedals or amplifier, distortion or overdrive, it really helps to tighten up the sound because the frequency response on this is completely different. It rolls off a bit of high end, rolls off a bit of low end, and pushes through with the mids. So it really helps your guitar to sing. Also, by adding a bit more gain, you can add a bit more sustain and compression to your sound, and it really is a handy little tool. They're both great, but they are both totally different. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. You can join the Middle Aged Gear Junkie Facebook page by hitting the link in the description. My name's Jason, hope you have a great day.